up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Meaning of Podcast. I am Ace.
This is RB3.
And this is the podcast where we talk about your favorite directors and the deeper meaning within their films. We hope you had a very Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
This is the post-Christmas Meaning of episode. Last year, we did the Spielberg Spectacular.
Yep.
And this year, we are talking about the director of the hour, Adam McKay.
Yes, sir.
His film Vice, I believe, came out yesterday.
Yeah.
If not, then oops. Obviously, we don't know exactly how well Vice is doing as far as box office wise.
So we should be clear. This isn't filmed the day after Christmas.
This is definitely filmed the day after Christmas, bro.
I know, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, we have a holiday break.
We should have actually wore Santa Claus hat to
Hey, we should have. We should have. We should wear a Santa beard and everything.
I already got the beard. I just got dyed white.
Hey, man, you're saying Christmas is about Santa? It's not about Jesus? Don't start with that shit, man.
Oh, like Fox News, man. Get off my back, bro.
Hey, man, someone's got to do it.
Hey.
Now, yes, guys, this is the day after Christmas episode, but we are not actually here on Christmas Day shooting an episode.
Yeah.
So obviously we haven't truly kept up with everything. So if we're a little behind, sorry, we can't be in the studio on a holiday.
Yeah,
but
Jesus.
if you're listening the day after Christmas, thank you.
You should, in fact, y'all should be happy. Y'all should be happy that we put out
Hey, man,
content.
I was just thanking them for
Nah, man, fuck
listen.
that. Y'all should be very happy that
It's
we are
Christmas, man.
putting out extra content.
Stop the cussing.
Yeah, no, they should be happy that we are putting out extra content. That's what I always hear about holidays. Like,
I love the holidays, man. Don't you talk shit about Christmas,
I love
bro.
holidays too.
Christmas is about Jesus.
All right.
Come on.
I love the holidays, but
Okay.
I hate the holidays because there's never any good YouTube content being put out. There's never any good videos.
That's kind of true, man.
There's never anything good
That's
coming
true.
out. So I just gotta.
Everyone takes a break.
Yeah, everybody's on a break. Everybody acts like this is a real job.
Yeah,
and,
you
takes
can't
a
see the
break.
next Let's Play video.
Yeah,
If you want to keep up with Minecraft, you can't see it. My favorite Minecraft streamers aren't streaming.
Yeah, so at least we got. I mean, hey, man. I don't really follow any streamers personally.
I'm just kidding.
But I'd love to one day. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, you twitched for the first time
I twitched
right?
a few weeks ago. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
how was that?
I'm still twitching. I'm twitching.
Twitch.
I'm like, hey guys, welcome to my Twitch channel. But either way, it's weird. What is that? What is Twitch?
I have
It's
no
freaking
idea.
weird, man. Why do people do that?
It's
Why
super popular.
are you judging me, RB3?
I'm not judging you. I'm just asking the question. Did you Twitch? Or?
I did Twitch,
Twitch
man.
on the
I had a
Twitch?
Twitch out. I had a twitching.
Were you playing Fortnite?
No, I was playing Fortnite. I don't play no Fortnite, bro.
What's wrong with Fortnite?
Don't associate me with no Fortnite.
Why? What's wrong with Fortnite?
I play. Nah, man. Fortnite's not. I'm not about them Legos with guns, bro. Legos with guns. Nah, bro, I ain't about that. I'm playing the true game. I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Let's
go.
Playing on Twitch. How big is the audience for
It's like no one. The game came out like 2 years ago, bro. And I'm still playing it. Hey, they released Obi-Wan this last November. So I'm playing with Obi-Wan. Yeah,
Jesus.
DLC. They released Grievous and Obi-Wan. They're gonna release Anakin and Dooku next. Hey man, anyone who's on that Battlefront, I play Black Ops 4 mainly, to be honest. Black Ops 4 is where I'm at. Yeah. But
is that the one with the free world, with the open world?
Yep. Yeah,
really?
that's Blackout. But it's part of Black Ops 4. But yeah.
Is it like the
I've been
DLC?
I've been playing Call of Duty for years, man. Like I used to be like really good at it, but now I suck. So
yeah.
If you see my stream, I'm sorry. But either way, I try. So
Did
I'm
you
not a
try-
cute streaming girl.
So did you try the open world thing? The
Blackout?
Yeah, Blackout.
Almost. Nah.
No. Okay.
I'm just not good at it, man. It's for me. It's boring. You know what's boring? Playing a video game that you suck at. That's boring. Yeah.
But if you don't play it, you're not gonna not suck at it.
Yeah, but if you play it like 50 times and you still suck at it, that's a sign from God that you should be celebrating the birth of Jesus. No, play.
There you go.
I go back to Christmas. Either way, guys, this week we're going to be tackling Adam McKay. Vice is a movie that a lot of people have been anticipating.
Yeah.
So far, we don't have true box office numbers, but I'm sure it's going to be doing a pretty good amount. Either way, it'll probably get award attention, which is kind of what it's going for.
Will it?
Yeah.
I mean,
It will. I'm gonna put it in the hat, man. I'm gonna put it in one of my son's hats because I got like 5.
I hope so.
It's gonna get something. It's gonna get something.
I definitely think the fact that this movie's being like hasn't been shown anywhere is a little concerning. At least
true, but if you're gonna go off the word of a few people who saw it, Mr. Scott Mann saw it and he said it was good.
I saw it.
Yeah. So did who else saw it? Someone saw it. Perry saw it. And she said she liked it.
She liked it. Okay, all right. I'll trust their words. So, I mean, and by the time this episode comes out, everybody would have seen it. So I don't know.
I mean, then again, you only had a day to see it if it came out Christmas Day.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So you never know, bro.
Is it even like is it opening wide or is it going independent?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Let me pull up the
yikes
actual.
$60 million budget too on this one. So
that is pricey. Yeah, nationwide, December 25th.
Hey.
So yesterday, if you didn't see the movie, you're behind a day, guys. Either way, guys, let's get right into it. Into Adam McKay. The reason why we're doing this, obviously, is because of Vice, starring Christian Bale and
Amy Adams,
and what's the other homie's name? The guy who plays Bush.
They should have Josh Brolin reprise his role. Sam Rockwell.
Sam freaking Rockwell.
Recent Oscar
playing
winner.
The W. George W. Bush.
Perfect casting.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we lost Papa Bush, man. A couple weeks ago. Papa Bush, bro. Why didn't you tweet anything, bro? Why didn't I see no tweet?
Do you think I'm gonna?
Yeah.
No, man, I'm not gonna. We also lost a lot of people in war too. So
hey,
you know what I mean? Like,
hey, don't start with that shit.
Hey, I mean,
that's not what this movie's about. No, this probably is what it's about.
Dick Cheney really running the show.
Yeah, that trailer to me is still one of the best trailers I've seen.
Great trailer, yeah,
such a good trailer, man. I when I saw Creed with my family over Thanksgiving. And we saw that trailer. My family and I were like, "Yo, that movie looks dope! I can't wait to see it." Yeah. Again, that is one of the best trailers. I'm so curious to see. Hey, look, this is it's an interesting. Whoa! Would you look at that?
Is this an
I got a little hot take. I'm showing RB3 my computer for the viewers that don't see what's going on because you guys don't watch on YouTube.
Fucking Tyler Perry's.
No. Más bajito, güey.
Oh goddamn! Lily.
No, keep going. RB3's
Tiffany Smith.
Tiffany Smith
in this movie. Hey, wait a minute, is that true?
Shout out to my girl Tiffany Smith,
CIA agent.
She's playing a CIA agent.
That's a big part.
Go watch the movie just to support Tiffany Smith, man. Hey, you never know.
Damn, I didn't know she was.
She's high up that IMDb though. Yeah. So you never know. We'll see how big her role is. But either way, that's a huge
big salute.
That's a huge get, bro.
That could be a best picture now.
That's a huge get. You just said it wasn't gonna get anything.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Hey, now you change your tune, bro.
She don't follow me back on that, but it's cool. It's cool.
Hey,
it's cool.
She don't follow you back for real?
No.
You never hanged out with Tiffany?
We've probably I wasn't here when she was like.
Oh, we went like freaking to the club. We went clubbing. You didn't go with us that one time?
I didn't go clubbing, but I did.
I'll play with you, bro.
Probably in total, I've probably seen her like twice.
Okay.
Honestly, like twice.
I remember when you first met her, man. That was
I was a big fan. Yeah, that was. I think that was my first day here.
I worked with her before I came to the Schmoes. When I first moved to LA, I met her like my second day in LA. And then when I saw her, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Stephanie. She was at my work.
Yo, I can't believe I went from fucking being disgusted by Tyler Perry to being enamored by the fact that Tiffany Smith is in this movie.
There you go.
That's awesome. Big salute.
I was going to say, stop it, man. It's the day after Christmas.
No.
Stop it with them words, bro.
No, big salutes to Tiffany.
There you go, man.
Yeah, big ups.
Hey, Tyler Perry was also in, what was that movie? Gone Girl.
Yeah, you're right.
Gone Girl, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, he played a part.
There you go.
Maybe being on set with these great directors will teach him a thing or two.
Ooh,
it's not a shot. It's not a shot.
That's not a shot. That's a nuclear bomb, bro. That's beyond a shot.
Hey, man. That's not a shot. I mean,
that's a nuke right there,
saying,
bro.
Like everything's a learning experience.
Hey, man, come on now. You got to stop that. Either way, guys, Adam McKay has been a director known for his comedy, known for his quirkiness, and now he's been getting more into award-worthy films. Obviously, The Big Short is an example of that.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it with Vice. These are the type of movies that have balanced the genre of drama and comedy and serious subjects in order to make a very successful award movie. Obviously, The Big Short is an example of that. I will also be talking about Succession quite a bit because that's a show that I loved this year. It was probably one of my favorite shows of the year, if not in my top 3 shows of the year, I believe, if not my top 1, to be honest.
Interesting.
That show's so freaking good. And it is one of those type shows. It reminds me a lot. If you like The Big Short, you will like Succession. Obviously, you saw a few episodes of it, so
Yeah, first episodes.
dude, keep trying, keep going.
No,
Keep
I
trying.
mean, I didn't like.
Get back on that
I
train.
didn't stop because
the pilot didn't get me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
the pilot, I was like, that's all right. It was kind of, it was all right. I'll watch the second one just because it didn't. I didn't really get into it until like the third episode.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't stop watching it because I thought it was bad. I just
didn't keep up.
I lost. Yeah. Just
I
got
feel
lost
you.
in the thing,
But either way, guys, we're gonna be talking about Adam McKay, how he got his start, his movies, his direction, and where he is now. But first, we begin where it all began, and that is 2000 through 2001. He was on a little show called SNL, Saturday Night Live. Specifically, as a director, he directed these episodes, starting with the Alan Cumming, Jennifer Lopez 2000 episode. He did Joshua Jackson.
Well, they're just the digital shorts.
These are
right?
the digital shorts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, to clarify. He did the Tobey Maguire Cisco. He did Dana Carvey and the Wallflowers. He did Charlie Sheen and Nelly Furtado. Holy crap. Julia Stiles and Aerosmith, and Pierce Bronson and Destiny's Child. There's a combination. Talk about Mamma Mia. Pierce Bronson and Destiny's Child. Damn. Have you seen any of these digital shorts, RB3?
I probably haven't, honestly.
Are you not an SNL fan, bro?
Not like SNL. I just these were before I started watching it.
Did you see this past weekend's SNL though? And by this past weekends, I mean the past weekends because it's Christmas time.
I haven't.
Come on, bro. You didn't see the Claire Foy one?
No, I didn't.
With my queen, Claire Foy.
That's the homegirl. Is she having an American accent in that too, or?
She talks about it. She doesn't talk. No, she talked about it in a Variety interview where she talked about like doing the American accent. And I was like, ooh, RB3's got some hot thoughts.
Nah, I mean that's not a hot take. I mean,
Come
she's
on,
doing
man.
the greatest of jobs. But
That was so funny, dude, when you said that and when it slipped out in First Man.
Yeah.
Did it slip out or was that just
that's just how
our
it
ears?
was the entire time.
Were those our ears?
Nah, that's how
time?
she talked the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can hold it. I mean, no offense to her, but
She's pretty British though.
there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people can't hold accents, bro. Like,
to be honest though, like out of all the British people, I forgive her the most. Yeah, I forgive her because she's extra British. Like Tom Holland is really British.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's pretty British. Henry Cavill's pretty British.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Andrew Garfield is a chameleon.
Yeah.
That's one of the best working actors right now, and he's got no attention and no credit.
Yeah.
I love that guy. And he also
Silence.
did a movie with Silence. Oh my God. Andrew Garfield, give that guy some awards. Come on. He did Breathe with Claire Foy. Did you see Breathe?
I haven't seen that one, no.
Jesus, man. Come on.
But
But either way,
is that
I
an
forgive
Claire
Claire
Foy movie? How many Claire Foy movies is there that came out this year, man? Jesus Christ.
Breathe came out last year, 2017.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And it's Girl in the Spider's Web, which I actually liked. What?
No.
We're gonna do a top 10 later on. So.
Oh wait, Assassin. Damn, man. Okay.
I'm not saying it's gonna be in my top 10, but it might. You never know.
Interesting.
This year was kind of bizarre, kind of disappointing for me. So you never know what average movies are going to be in my top 10.
It's going to pick up.
Either way, SNL is where a lot of people get their start. Obviously, a lot of actors gotten their start on SNL. A lot of comedians go into SNL and kind of get their hand in acting. But Adam McKay is a director who got their hand in directing some episodes in digital shorts. And that is a really big staple because to me, SNL is still the grand staple of mainstream comedy. That is the big daddy of mainstream comedy, in my opinion. I don't know if you have another opinion on that. I don't know if you've been following SNL or if you have an opinion on the staple that it has within our culture.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely the longest running syndicated sketch show, whatever. And there's a reason why they managed to stay pretty relevant with stuff. So, I mean, I like SNL a lot. I mean, I try to watch when there's usually like a celebrity or musical act that like.
You missed Travis Scott when he was on, right?
Yeah, well, I saw it after. Yeah, okay. I saw it after that.
Well, I forgot who was hosting with him.
I forgot too. It was the chick from Crazy Rich Asians.
That's right, Aquafina.
Aquafina,
That's right, Aquafina. Yeah, I remember because he did my favorite track on the album. My favorite track on the album, hot take coming from Ace in 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Astro Thunder is my favorite track.
Thunder. Oh, that's a great song.
That song is fire.
That's an amazing song.
That song is that beat, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, Thundercat killed it.
I love it. I love it. Either way, his first editorial debut starts with the movie that created it all, and that is Will Ferrell in Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy,
Yes, sir.
Mr. San Diego himself. RB3, this movie broke barriers. It broke down walls.
I don't know if it did all that. Well, actually, it was
It kind of did,
it was a pretty
man.
big, pretty
it
big
was
deal.
pretty big. It was a pretty big deal, man. Teenagers, young adults,
Everybody.
young
Everybody
people,
connected to
like
it.
old people. They really like this movie, man. I don't know what it is. You tell me, RB3. What is it about this movie with this enormous cast that it has? I mean, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell.
All before
Christina
they were known.
Applegate.
They weren't known back then.
Yeah, they weren't that big back
Yeah.
then. I mean, obviously they were still known, but not that big. Fred Armisen, Seth Rogen is in this. This is just a stacked cast and just a movie that really did extremely well. What is it, RB3, that made so many audience members connect to this movie?
I think a large part of it is the spoof on the news genre. I think a lot of people connect to the whole idea of.
But you think it's more news or more local news?
Local news. Well, we'll get to part two, and I'll start. You know, we could talk about like the national news level that the second one kind of explores. But the first one's local news and the kind of ridiculousness around the celebrity that we put around newscasters. I think is ridiculous. Just because, like, yeah, of course we watch them every day, but like they're just they probably get paid less than you'd imagine, and they probably don't even write their own stories to some extent, you know. So it's just like
They don't. To be honest.
yeah. So it's just
I know because I've I've done it. I've written.
You've written. Yeah. So I mean that's how it is. I mean, nothing wrong with that system. I also think, I think to some extent I have a personal disdain towards network news, largely because my mom never stops watching network news. Like she watches that shit non.
Interesting that you don't like it because your mom watches it, and not that you like it because your mom watches it.
No, I don't like it. And then also just on a deeper level, like what I started observing like as I got older is that they cover a lot of the same stories, car crashes, like stuff involving people of color. But don't really cover any like white collar crimes. Don't cover anything. They have a very particular set of crimes.
It's
that they
more
cover.
scare tactics.
Exactly, fear tactics, and that's why I love Nightcrawler because it addresses all of that. I think there's even
If
a line.
It bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, if it bleeds, it leaves. And there's even a line in there where she's like, it got to be a car crash or something or Compton or something. And she says that line. I'm like, damn, like that really is 100% accurate. So that to me, that always has turned me off of network news personally.
Yeah.
But it is also something that affects everybody because literally everybody, at least in one area or one county, all consumes the same news. So it's like everybody relates to having that one person, you know, having that one, and not one person to say it because there's multiple local news stations, but having that connection to the TV and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on a side note, obviously the movie is successful because it's funny. I mean, obviously
yeah,
there's
of course.
There's a lot of great moments that have a lot of comedy.
It's
in
hilarious,
it.
yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the caricatures that Will Ferrell creates.
Yeah.
Because the guy is a ridiculous amalgamation of like male superiority and male toxicity and like.
And it takes place in the 70s.
In the
so
70s.
Like, that's what was expected.
That's
back
what
then.
was. Yeah, that's what it was, man. So it's kind of that. I don't know everything. I'm going to be talking about it a lot. I mean, obviously we just started, and I don't want to get into like Talladega Nights and all these other movies, but I'm going to have to start it. Is like the idea that these Will Ferrell characters are kind of like obviously a parody of this time period or of this type of person. But at the same time, does it make these types of people kind of like endearing or kind of like someone you kind of root for? Because it like the Ricky Bobby character, like at the end of the day, as much as you laugh at them, you kind of find some sort of endearment with people like Ron Burgundy. As crazy and as ridiculous and as insane, as psychotic as they are, you realize it's a comedy movie and you realize that it's over the top, but at the same time, is it creating some sort of like acceptance or endearment towards these kind of truly, in reality, psychotic type characters?
I mean, I guess, but I mean that's what comedy is, though. I mean,
it is, but at the same time, you don't think that's a danger? You don't think it's danger to normalize these types of these types of actions that he does in the movie?
Well, I mean, like, Well, no, it's not good to normalize it, but I don't think it's normalizing. I think it's clearly making fun of.
It is making fun of it, but
yeah.
I'm saying at the end of the day, as much as you make fun of him, though, you still kind of, you know.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, you have to have a human character to connect to in a story.
That's what I'm saying.
And this character is also a line of comedy. So it's like, it's like yes, but also at the same time, I don't think, like for me, I don't think having if somebody reads a book that's from the first person point of view of a killer, I don't think that like the author should be responsible if somebody reads their book and becomes a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like, just because like you're literally being put in the eyes of like something like that. So I don't think
kind of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I find endearment in the killer and I'm just like, man, you know what? He's just a misunderstood guy. You don't think that's a dangerous perspective to take?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think
because I do.
Well, I mean, I don't.
Obviously, that's a different case.
Yeah, I mean, that's different. I mean, but
because I'm very black and white. That's just. I mean, I was the guy who said shoot Michael Myers.
yeah.
Just shoot him.
Well, I mean, you have to.
The movie's
Michael
over.
Myers, at that point, yeah.
But everyone's like, no, Michael Myers is just misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this guy takes people's teeth out for fun.
Well, yeah.
Shoot him.
I mean, it depends on where the line is for you. I mean, for me, like, I'm not like as black and white. Like, I think like whatever, like. I'm gonna judge a person based on what I think of them personally, you know. So for somebody like Will Ferrell's character in this movie, like it's funny and like I'm gonna laugh at him, but I'm not gonna say like he's a good dude or you know what I mean? Like and also I mean you know to some extent at the same time you could look at something like the Dumb and Dumber, like you look at something like Dumb and Dumber, like are we gonna you know, are we going to promote that? Is that promoting a certain type of behavior, or is it promoting some sort of like level of stupidity that people live up to some extent?
You're asking the wrong guy. Because if you were asking a normal dude, he'd be like, "Nah, man," but you're asking me, bro. I was the one who went at you for Illumination Entertainment.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, Jesus Christ.
I hate movies that promote stupidity, bro.
So you don't like this movie?
I see, but this is different though because I think this is well done. It's you know who said it best, and I know I didn't want to do it, but I have to do it. Patrick H. Willems, bro.
Oh,
have you seen his video on Adam McKay?
No.
He talks about he calls it smart dumb comedy. That's the exact line he uses, and that's the name of the title of his video. That's called Smart Dumb Comedy. Adam McKay's comedy.
Yeah,
it's smart dumb comedy.
It'll be in the description.
There you go. It's dumb, but it's really well written, and I think there is a difference there, right there.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of it too is like Will Ferrell's improv in this movie is just really spot on, and it's really, really well done.
Yeah.
And I don't want to credit Adam McKay for kind of bringing in the whole improv element because it's way before his time, but he kind of re-sparked it a little bit.
It was him and Judd Apatow. And
Judd Apatow, yeah.
And Judd Apatow is a producer on this movie. As well, and you know we kind of when me and my boy Cade was here talking about Judd Apatow.
Am I your boy, bro?
I know you're my boy too, bro. We're all boys. Yeah, we had kind of like skipped over Anchorman because like it's more of an Adam McKay film than anything, but it's just I mean it all kind of comes in that same ilk, and it's all during the time where Steve Carell was just doing 40-Year-Old Virgin, same year, 2004.
That's right.
It's the same, and Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen were in that.
That's another iconic comedy modern film. I don't know what to call it, but that's what I'll call it.
Modern classic.
Modern comedy classic.
Yeah. No, definitely. And so I think Anchorman and 40-Year-Old Virgin kind of are good. Not companion pieces per se because they don't really mesh like on plot level. Yeah. But I mean on the sense of like the broad comedy, the kind of shift in direction that comedy took as a result of these two
comedy
films.
that went mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this type of comedy was around, but just not as mainstream.
Yeah, and I mean I still think Anchorman is hilarious. I think there's just like too many good jokes in there.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite moment in this movie?
I mean, I always love both in this one and the second one when like the whole street alley fight. Like,
it's the best. It's the best, dude.
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
It's so good. Obviously, that's probably the most iconic part of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cop out to pick it, but I'm gonna pick it anyways, man. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean everybody picks that. I also love what was the whole line about the cologne like. Yeah, only 50%.
Oh yeah,
100% of the time or something like that.
Yeah, I forget the
exact line. Yeah. So many. It's a lot of good quotables in it too. That's what really makes it amazing.
Following Anchorman, he did another movie that has become pretty iconic, and that is Talladega Nights: The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. And this is one that he did with what's his face from come on, Wreck-It Ralph, homie.
What are you talking about?
I'm so bad at names, dude.
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly, dude.
Who go on to be stepbrothers.
Yeah, that's right, dude. Were you there? Were you there for our? Damn it, I already forget his name too. Maybe it's just because I'm exhausted right now. But hold on, let me. What's the guy's name? Who played Ross? Who plays Ross in The Walking Dead? Remember Walking Dead?
Ross McQuan.
Ross McQuan, is that his name?
I think so. He was
yes,
also in
Ross
Infinity
McQuan.
War.
Ross McQuan.
Yeah, he's in Infinity War.
Infinity War, yes, he plays Red Skull in Infinity War. Were you there when he did it with Joel?
Yeah.
Were you there when he did John C. Reilly and John C. Reilly won? Mm-hmm. Bro, his John C. Reilly.
Spot on.
Oh, shout out to Ross McQuan. He is a super nice guy. He's actually a friend of another friend of mine that worked with me. And he told me, he's like, bro, this guy is so cool, and now he's on The Walking Dead. Like, he told me that, like, years and years ago, like when I first moved to LA, he's like, oh, a good friend of mine just got on The Walking Dead. That was his like debut episode. And now the guy's he's a talent, man. Like if you've seen his impressions, is like
spot on. Yeah, he has a whole one with Variety, I think.
Yeah, his Kevin Spacey, obviously poor taste. Ooh, I said a bad word, Kevin Spacey.
We can talk about Kevin Spacey.
Hey, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's usually like a 6 month to a year period where we're like true. Not allowed to say the name, but I think we can say it now.
Yeah. Either way, his Kevin Spacey is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
it's really damn good. His Ewan McGregor. Have you heard his Ewan McGregor?
Yes, yeah.
It's so good. Yeah. I just wanted to say all those Star Wars lines, bro. I love it. I love Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Either way, John C. Reilly. His John C. Reilly is great. But this movie, man, obviously it's not as well regarded as Anchorman is, but it's still a movie that really, at least in my friend group, hit a lot of them and really got them to say quotable lines, shake and bake, John C. Reilly, Baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff that became pretty funny and pretty quotable. What do you think about this movie?
I think it's a fun movie. I mean, it's a clear commentary on the NASCAR phenomenon that happens in the U.S., which is actually the biggest sport in America.
Oh, dude, you have no idea how big that is, bro. It's so big. People love NASCAR, man.
Yeah, so it's funny. This is like the Rocky of our generation. Some sense. Ricky, get it? Okay, but it does pin against the French versus the American, the Allies in heart, but the rivalry in spirit, and I think that's interesting. It's a good film. I mean, it was funny seeing Amy Adams be such a clown in this movie. I also think the opening scene is funny to me because if you just take out the opening scene of that movie and put it like, if you just show somebody the opening movie, the scene is like, oh, this is a race car movie, they'll have no idea what the fucking, because it was like the flashback to like the yeah. I don't know, it's weird. I really dig it though. It's a fun comedy.
What do you think he's saying about that section of the U.S. that enjoys this sport so much?
I mean, he's kind of making fun of it. I feel like all of Hollywood is going to make
poor
fun of it.
taste? Do you think you think people in that area actually like it? You think NASCAR fans that are really like this, because there are people like this.
Yeah. You
think they enjoy this movie?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I know exactly 0 people who like NASCAR. Like 0. None. So I don't know. Like, apparently it's the biggest sport. Hey, man,
you didn't grow up in Texas.
I didn't grow up in Texas. I didn't grow up in like Australia or...
Australia?
Do I have it out there?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not American, I guess. It's not American.
I was going to say.
What's the big... Or Indianapolis, right? Indy 500? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, but that's not Australia, bro.
No, I'm just saying, like, I thought Australia. I meant to say Alaska, but I don't know why. It's been a long day.
I'm thinking more like North Carolina and Kentucky.
Is North Carolina? Is Indianapolis though? Indianapolis
Indy
is a big one.
500 is a big one, yeah.
Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
Kansas.
Probably, sure.
All right. All states I don't like. We gotta. I'm just kidding. I'm actually.
I was gonna say there's some nice people in those states. Take it back.
Some great people. Not including Jay and Ryan Schnelling.
Ooh, they're probably not listening.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Somebody clip this out and tell Jay, suck my dick.
Hey, man, come on. It's the day after Christmas, damn it. It's about Jesus.
Not Jay. I'm sorry, not Jay. I love Jay. Jay's dope. Ryan, not so much.
There you go.
Schnelling.
Hey, man, we're talking about baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? Because it kind of makes fun of them quite a bit. But at the same time, I could still kind of see some people who enjoy NASCAR and are kind of like this, enjoying this movie. I don't know. That's just me. I always find it funny how those movies that are attempting to make fun of those people end up being the movies that people cater towards.
Yeah. I love Logan Lucky. Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky,
Yeah, that's a great film.
Yeah. Logan Lucky's another one that does that. But I feel like there's a ton of movies out there that are supposed to make fun of something but end up celebrating it at the same time.
Yeah.
I wish I could name a good example of it, but there's quite a few movies that do that where it's supposed to be like a parody of this, making fun of it, and people who are being made fun of are like, yo, that was dope, and they think it's the coolest thing ever. So I could see that happening with this
American
movie.
Sniper.
Is that a parody?
I think so. That's just me.
You think Clint Eastwood made a parody about a sniper?
No, I just think the movie's a little over the top in this military portrayal, but
it could.
to me, it's parody.
I don't think it's parody wise, but I think I don't want to say propaganda, but in a sense,
it's more propaganda than it is parody.
Yeah, I would say it's more propaganda parody, but
yeah.
it's more overly conscious of the audience, I guess is what I could say. I saw that in a packed theater. I saw American Sniper in a packed, happy theater. I liked the movie, and I got a lot of shit for saying that, but I'll still say I like the movie.
Yeah,
so.
Keep getting shit for it.
It's what it is.
You deserve the shit for that.
Hey, you like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, bro?
It's a great film.
Hey, come on now. Compare that to American Sniper, man. Come on. Come on now. Either way, what followed Talladega Nights was a short on a website called YouTube.
Yeah.
It came out in 2007. It's called The Landlord.
Yeah.
Starring Will Ferrell and a little girl. Have you seen this short?
Selena Gomez.
No.
Who's this?
You've never seen The Landlord?
This is Adam McKay's daughter's in this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Have you seen this short?
Yeah.
Tell me this isn't hysterical.
It's hilarious.
This is one of the first YouTube viral videos, man.
It's also
back when you were, how old were you in 2007, bro? I was 16 in 2007.
2007?
Yeah.
I was like 10.
So what was YouTube to you?
I don't know.
YouTube wasn't a thing, but for me, this is what I found on YouTube. This videos like this, man. And
no, it's a fun little fun little
it's
sketch.
like a minute long.
It's
so
also
funny.
the start of Funny or Die, which is Adam McKay's company.
Funny or Die, dude.
Yeah.
That's right. Funny or Die, for anyone who doesn't know, obviously they make a lot of, bizarre videos from everywhere. But Funny or Die has one of the best running series currently on YouTube right now called Zach Morris's Trash. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
I think I've talked about it on the show before.
Really?
It's so funny. It's a guy. Check this out. It's a guy who goes through Saved by the Bell episodes and breaks it down by just following Zach Morris's actions in each episode. And when you see it, bro, and it's real. It's all real. Like, it's a disclaimer where he's like, all this is real. I'm not making it up. This literally happened in a Saved by the Bell episode. This is actually what Zach did. It's so funny, dude, because he does the most offensive, messed up stuff. Like, he put a baby in a backpack. He like made fun of Native Americans. He was like taking pictures of girls in their locker room while they were changing. Like, he was doing some stuff that was funny in like the late 80s and early 90s, but now you're like, yo, that's some pedophilia stuff. He did some like dark stuff, dude. It's so funny. And he breaks it down in a very like dry sense of humor kind of way, where he's like, Zach Morris put a baby in a bag, and he just talks about It's so funny, dude. Yeah, no. It's Funny or Die does that video, and that's my favorite video series. Besides that, I don't really follow Funny or Die that much. I like College Humor a little bit more.
Between Two Ferns is their
Between Two Ferns, that's right.
Which is getting a movie. By Netflix.
Oh my God, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrible. How are they going to make that into a movie?
It's probably just going to be different interviews. Like.
I guess. I would rather see that as a show on Netflix than a new movie. But anyways, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what the whole plan
Sidetrack.
is.
Between Two Ferns is great, man. It's definitely the one of the staples of awkward humor, dry humor, which is what I call it. It's so funny, and yet it's so hard to watch. It's great. I love it.
And then they also are responsible for the Billy on the Street. That I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh
show.
my God, I love Billy on the Street. Really? Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Billy on the Street is awesome.
But yeah, the Landlord was what their first video was, and they ultimately ended up blowing up ever since.
And a year later, he did a movie that is a lot of people's favorite comedy, and that is called Step Brothers.
Hey.
Screenplay by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. Both of them wrote this movie, and it stars John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. And it is one of the weirdest comedies.
Yeah.
You know who's also a star in this movie is Adam Scott, man.
Hey,
Adam
my
Scott.
guy, man. I love
Scott's
Adam
great.
Scott.
He's great in this movie. He's great.
Yeah. He's in a show called what's the name of that show that he's in? He is in a show. Give me 2 seconds. Called Party Down. Party Down. One of the best shows that nobody watched. Like,
I've seen Party Down.
You seen Party Down? Amazing.
Not all
show.
of it, but I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah, all 3.
It's
seasons
HBO,
of it.
right?
It was Stars when it came on.
That's what it is.
Yeah, no.
Shout out to Stars, man.
Yeah, they be putting out some quality stuff sometimes.
Have you seen?
Man.
You still haven't seen Spartacus, have you?
No.
Oh, Spartacus, bro. I legit, bro. Legit. This past Sunday, I was at church.
Oh shoot! You thinking of Spartacus at church?
I legit, bro. I was at church and we were doing this Christmas tree lighting at church. This is all real, by the way. This is not made up. And I was talking to some people and I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, we were talking about like nerd stuff that I'm into. And they're like, "Oh, what are you into?" And I was like, "Oh, I really like Game of Thrones." And you know. And they're like, "Oh, really, Game of Thrones?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it's really intense." But I also love this show called Spartacus. And I was talking about Spartacus, and I was like, "Yo," I was like, "It's kind of hard to recommend Spartacus in church."
Yeah, I was gonna say like, damn, that's the wrong place. Like.
I'm like right next to the Christmas tree as they're being lit up, and I'm like talking to this random girl about Spartacus, and I'm like, "Yeah, you know, thanks for coming to church." I was like, "Have you seen Spartacus though?" Yo, that scene where the crazy blood fountain is coming out, and people are like having sex on top of the blood fountain.
That's like talking to somebody from Westboro Baptist Church about calling me by your name. Like,
hey man, don't compare my church to Westboro Baptist Church. My church be the opposite of that.
No, of course not.
My church is cool. My church is definitely not that.
Church to that.
But either way, it's the most intense show I've ever seen.
Yeah, I really gotta watch it.
No, I'm talking about Spartacus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's the most intense show I've ever seen. And recommending that in church kind of dawned on me. I was like, this is kind of weird. Like that show is extreme, and they do it in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, in a wink at the camera.
It's like a lot like 300 though, right?
It is.
That's what I got from that.
Oh, even more, man. Honestly, it really is. Like you gotta see. It's a special show. It's so special because it's so serious and grounded and political and like all this stuff. And at the same time, they're gonna they have goofiness where they're just like, Namiya, I must come to you and we must have a grand orgy on top of this blood fountain. And it's like, you're like, oh, dang, bro. Like, they're going to really do this.
That's wild.
And you're like, oh, okay. They're kind of comedic with it. Like, they're funny with it. They're not doing it to be, you know, serious. They're making fun of themselves. Yeah. And it makes it even better. Come on, RB3. You got to watch it.
I haven't watched, but I have seen the original movie, Spartacus, by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, that's definitely not what
Great film. Yeah, great film, though. Great film.
Yeah, man. Adam McKay. I mean, not Adam McKay. I'm sorry. Adam Scott. Great actor, man. He was great in this movie, too. He plays a funny, quirky dude in this movie as well. What is your big takeaway from this movie, man? I mean, obviously, this movie is super weird, as I said before. And
it's very popular.
It's so popular.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's funny, the whole idea. Well, I mean, it's a big dichotomy, right? It's a big struggle for a lot of men to deal with the idea of seeing their parental figure, especially two guys like these, because these are both like enormous man children. You know what I mean? Like there are grown children that are like living with their parents still. So like the fact that they're still living under the womb of being their parents, also like being a single child means you're like way more connected to your parent than. You know, especially a single child with a single parent, like you're super connected. That's like your best friend almost for a lot of people. So then it's like having that and having to deal with a new force entering that life, but also somebody else who's dealing with the exact same thing, but y'all are butting heads just because of the dynamic in and of itself. It's just funny. It creates a lot of interpersonal family conflict while also making it a broad spectrum thing that everybody can relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest nail on the head. It's the fact of like the classic story of like two people butting heads and then realizing that they become the best of friends and that they need each other. What do you think of the ending of the movie with the Italian song that they sing at the end? I forget if it's French or Italian.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What do you think of that? With the whole, it's basically a spoof of like emotional, romantic comedies. I guess. It's essentially a romantic comedy ending type.
Yeah, something like My Best Friend's Wedding or some shit. Yeah, no, I think it's funny. I think everything about this movie is kind of goofy, but in a funny way. So.
It is very goofy.
Yeah, and big ups to Step Brothers. I don't really know much more of a deeper meaning.
I mean, I think deeper meaning would just be like you said, man. The
family.
Yeah,
family
the emotional
stuff.
connection that the two guys can have, and realizing that you can be brothers. Arranged marriage of brothers.
Oh shit! Arranged brother-in-laws.
Arranged brother-in-laws can actually work out in the end. So
that's funny.
You never know.
Now, for these next 3 movies, though, a lot of political intrigue in the next 3 of his films.
RB3, man, he's on one.
Yeah, no, they're all there.
Let's do it, man. Let's start out with The Other Guys.
The Other Guys.
This movie, I forgot about this movie, man. Came out in 2010.
Classic.
It stars Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
This is my Adam McKay.
This is your favorite?
Yeah.
It also stars The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Hey.
I forgot the name of their duo. They have the most iconic duo.
Bro, I can't lie. What Mark Wahlberg does in this movie is a tragedy. If I were a Yankees fan,
what do you mean? Because of Alex Rodriguez.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That is pretty damn funny.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good. The fact that they actually got Derek Jeter for that.
Right, Derek Jeter.
That's so funny.
Derek Jeter. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like they do that again with like LeBron or something. That's so funny.
That'd be amazing. They should have made a sequel to this movie.
They gotta make a sequel to this, man.
Yeah, nah, definitely.
What do you think about this movie, RB3? Tell me about it.
I think it's genuinely great as a comedy. I think it's a dope. I don't want to say parody of the police genre movies because I don't think it's a parody. I think it actually
kind of is.
It is, but I think it kind of falls in line with like more of the traditions and the standards of like just being a normal buddy cop. You know, them not getting along together, have to deal with each other, reconciling or whatever. I think it's more of they're put in comedic situations, but I think the development of those two relationship is pretty like straightforward. I think the B plot that every one of these characters gets is hilarious. Like I think the whole thing with Mark Wahlberg trying to be in a relationship with like a ballerina, and he ends up like learning ballet to impress his girlfriend, and like his and with Will Ferrell with the insanely hot wife. Who's that? Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes.
Shout
out to Eva Mendes. Wife of Mr. Ryan Gosling.
That's true. Yeah. Very, very, very true. And
Eva Mendes, man. I mean, Ryan speaks almost perfect Spanish too, which is so funny to me.
Right?
Yeah. It's so. I think it was the funniest thing ever when he won his. I think it was his Golden Globe. I think he won when he was like, I want to thank. I forget their names, so I'm gonna butcher it. But he was like, I want to thank my wife. Eva and my daughters, Estefania and Emilia Santa. Like his daughter's names are like the most like Latina names ever. And he like, it's this white Canadian guy being like, my daughter Emilia and Estefania. And he was just like saying their names like that. And I was like, all right, bro, I see you repping. All right, repping the Latinos, man. All right, I see you, bro.
What's up, Ryan Gosling? But yeah, I think on a deeper level too, the other guys is a much broader story about corruption in Wall Street. It's particularly after, and I think this is where the connecting thread is between The Big Short and the other guys, is in the fact that the other guys also talks about the underground ways of hiding money that the Wall Street, the corporatists have kind of figured out a way around it. And the whole idea of this movie is to try and break down the stock trading.
Yeah.
Break that off. It's a very complicated, like convoluted plot. I think that's a lot of people's criticism with it, is that the plot is pretty like all over the top. And
I was going to say this is Adam McKay starting to dabble within that world.
But no,
because he gets more and more and more into it.
Yeah, I mean there are full like literally parts where like a homeless dude like gives us like a political breakdown in this movie, like and I didn't pick it up at first, but then after seeing The Big Short and then after seeing this movie again, I was like,
Adam is saying something.
I get it now. Yeah, and this came out in 2010, so this was after the big financial crash, the recession.
Was this no? This wasn't during what was it? Wall Street.
Yeah, this was right after the
Occupy Wall Street.
Occupy Wall Street happened
before.
Yeah, I mean this happened before.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was before
Wall Street movement. But it was still I mean it all played a big part into it. I mean the whole everything with particularly in terms of the relationship between the people and how people felt about the Wall Street people and how the way that they're portrayed as bad guys in this movie, as opposed to the good-natured cops that Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are. It's just a very clear difference in what he's trying to say about the more extravagant, rich lifestyle versus that. And then there's also a lot about, they end up the ultimate end up punishment when the guy gets arrested at the end, he doesn't end up serving any time, which is actually reflective of what happened to a lot of these big Wall Street dudes who actually did end up effing over the nation and then didn't serve any time didn't serve any consequences for it.
Thank you for bleeping yourself, man. It's the day after Christmas, bro.
I'm trying, man. I know I already said the F word like 4 times, but hey, it's all good, man.
Hey, man. I see that effort. I appreciate that
trying,
effort.
Man.
I appreciate
Especially when talking about the other guys.
There you go, man.
Good movie.
There you go. What's your what are some of your favorite moments in this movie? I'm sure you have plenty.
Oh yeah. No, the homeless dude in the car, like he finds his car and he's like, oh yeah, we found 2 homeless people fucking and they start having an orgy. I think that's hilarious.
You just ruined your self cuss, bro.
Oh, whatever. I'm sorry, man. See, I gotta think about it.
The day after Christmas, bro.
I really gotta think about it to not curse. That's funny, and I also think the
what about The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson?
Of course. That's hilarious. Them falling into the bush was great.
Yeah.
The whole sequence is like it feels weird because I almost want to laugh at it more, but then at the same time it's like, damn, I really did love these guys. If they did a whole movie by themselves, I would have easily seen it.
If they did a spin-off movie, Hobbs and Shaw style.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I thought it was funny. They were fighting the guys with the Jamaican looking guys at the beginning, and I don't know why it just super reminded me of Bad Boys 2. I guess that was kind of the intent with the car chase with the Jamaican guys.
That's exactly what it was, bro.
Which is funny.
Shout out to Josh McCougar for Bad Boys 2.
Yeah,
By the way, I know I'm backtracking a good 10 minutes, but it was Esmeralda. Is the daughter of Ryan Gosling. So
Much respect.
When he was like, Esmeralda. I was like, all right, I see you, Ryan. Yeah. Either way, the other guys, yeah, man, it's a funny movie, but it does have a lot to say. And I think that's kind of where Adam McKay started to dabble in and started to dive into a little bit more, branching out of comedy a little bit and making comedy with commentary.
Yeah.
He continues that a little bit with Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, which came out in 2013. Tell me about this one and what do you think it says?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read all my notes because my laptop's at 1%, so it's probably going to die. A large part of this movie is about the rise of cable news networks, particularly.
What year is this movie set in?
I don't know the exact year, but it's the 80s. Okay. And I think the whole point is that in the 1980s, that's when CNN first started. So this is like a direct spoof of CNN, CNN being the first 24-hour news
CNN.
network.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that should be nobody's CNN.
But then calling them out, bro.
Yeah, it is not. They're not a good network. But I think that I think overall, this movie connects on the level of it being more about the national news and how much bigger and more upscale that is to local news. That's why this movie feels so much bigger. There's so many more cameos. It's so much longer. It's a longer film than the first one. I think it's supposed to be a parody on that whole idea of overstuffing, the same way the 24-hour news cycle overstuffs a bunch of bullshit, Statistically speaking, a lot of people don't trust major news sites. According to a recent poll, 4,000 people, only 72% of Americans actually believe. 72% of Americans believe that traditional major news sources report news to be known as fake, false, or purposely misleading. So 72% of people actually believe that the news is fake, including 92% of Republicans, 79% of independents, and 53% of Democrats. So it's not even like a partisan thing. Everybody distrusts
Do you think it is?
I don't think.
What is your faith in the news right now?
Zero.
2018.
Mainstream
End of
news.
2018. 2019 is going to be a whole new year, bro.
Yeah, mainstream news, zero. I don't watch any CNN. I don't watch any Fox. I don't watch any MSNBC.
What do you watch? What do you pay attention to?
I personally just find independent outlets, and I also I find that usually print organizations are usually the better ones when it comes to having more accurate stuff.
Do you think it's more the news, or we're going to disagree, RB3 already.
Oh, shoot.
Do you think it's more the news or more people's interpretation of what the story is?
I think
because I really do feel like the narration. I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of left-leaning stuff, and I watch it, but I still call out their bullshit.
Yeah, I'm still that's my biggest problem.
Blah 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 is happening, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, that's happened with Obama. That happened with I call him out, and I'm like, yeah, Obama did that shit.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, to me, what CNN, particularly, I have gripes with CNN.
Okay.
Because I feel like they are
not MSNBC.
I have gripes with them too.
I was gonna say,
at least MSNBC is somewhat serving their base to some extent. To me, I have a problem with CNN because they try to act like the neutral party.
Okay.
When in reality, they serve corporatism and elitism more than anything. It's not Democrat and Republican. For them, it's just
money versus money.
Money. So when there's a candidate, and particularly like with Alicia, the
Alicia
girl,
Vikander?
No, Alicia Ocasio. You know the big politician.
Oh, Alicia Ortiz.
Yeah, I can't pronounce
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
Cortez, yeah.
I think it's Ortiz, isn't it?
I think it's.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but amazing politician. Has an amazing agenda. She's been screaming this stuff since the very beginning, since she first hit the campaign trail. But then no news outlets covered her. CNN refused to do interviews with her. MSNBC barely gave her any coverage. They don't do any coverage on these candidates, but yet when they become big and once they actually get elected, surprisingly so because they got zero coverage. But when they actually get elected, oh, is she the new face of the Democratic Party? Oh my God, she must. And they try, you know what I mean? And that to me is the most shallow shit in the world. Like why? You didn't back her before because her opponent Joe Crowley literally outraised her 30 times as much as
you don't think that's all media though that does that?
It's all media. It's Fox News, it's MSNBC.
Yeah.
I just feel like with CNN, it's like they claim to be the site. We break the news. We don't report it. That's literally they've been their thing. We break the news. We don't report it. To me that's just like wow. Like you go out of your way. And especially, I mean, I'm you know me, I'm a big Bernie fan too. So they went out of their way to promote Hillary and her, and it's just multiple examples of them just following the money. They always just follow the money, and I don't have any appreciation for that.
Alexandria or Ocasio Cortez. I'm gonna say that again. Alexandria Ocasio Cortez.
Oh, okay, there. Killer. Okay, I have a hard time with that name. But a great candidate, and I think she's she's exactly what the Democratic Party needs. And my
Interesting. Interesting. Hey man, you're not done yet, RB3.
But yeah, so I have my personal disdain with CNN, and I feel like this movie directly kind of targets CNN. And yeah, I mean, I have a lot more issues with CNN than just those two with Ortiz and the Clinton and stuff. But I mean, just overall though, I feel like independent outlets are what I consume more. I don't have any trust. And CNN has reported too many fake stories to be as a credible news organization.
Fake stories? You really think they report fake stories?
Oh yeah, I mean, in January 2017, they did the whole story about Trump having the Russian government having compromising information on Trump with you remember the whole thing with them saying that like some chicks peed on them or whatever, the stupidest shit. Yeah, like what the and that's what CNN reported. CNN reported that.
Yeah.
CNN reported that. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
CNN,
that's pretty dumb.
Really, they read this document and nobody thought, this doesn't look good. And you just in doing that, that gives Trump the ammunition to be like fake news. Wasn't
it? What did BuzzFeed do?
Well, BuzzFeed. So
wasn't it BuzzFeed?
So what it was, CNN reported that there was a document that had this information out, and then BuzzFeed just released the whole document that was put out.
Got it.
So BuzzFeed shot themselves in the foot. I was never going to trust BuzzFeed to begin with.
Freaking BuzzFeed, man.
Yeah.
They shot themselves in the face before they even began.
Yeah.
They're like, what Pottermore house are you from? By the way, Trump has. incriminating tapes.
Right,
It's
right,
like, what?
right.
Bro, stop.
Like, don't be ridiculous. And see, that angers me more because that only fuels Trump's excuse to be like fake news, fake news, fake news. When it's a story that relates to him, when it's something that could be completely true. So you're taking distrust from yourself at this point. And sorry, one last thing about CNN. I'm sorry, I just got to go in. You know all the wildfires that are happening in California. You know that out of the thousands of hours of coverage that CNN dedicated to it, only 2% of that time was actually dedicated towards talking about climate change. That's
my outlets, bro.
Not my outlet. No.
Either way, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, Ron. I'm sorry. I went off on a huge tangent.
Yeah, you did, man. But then again, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I go on tangents about how demons are infecting your family.
Hey.
And you got to be aware.
Yeah,
you got to be aware, man. You got to be aware.
Definitely got to be aware.
Anchorman 2, the legend continues. And it continues with RB3's rants.
Yeah, sorry.
This movie also follows up. Doesn't it make the crazy scene at the end like even bigger?
Yeah,
the fight scene.
Yeah. Everybody's.
Which one had I forget which one. I confused the two. Did this one had the bicycles or the first one had the bicycles? When they're riding around the bikes and they're like facing around.
Oh, I think that's the first one.
Oh man, it's so funny.
Yeah, but this one had Will Smith as like the sports guy.
That's right. This one had like cameos and like a bunch of people popping out.
Kanye was in it.
Oh my god,
like, everybody was in it.
So funny, man. It's funny because ESPN did like a spoof on this, obviously, because that's what ESPN does. But and it's just the idea of like some random here I'll say it, a newscaster who has a very proper. Pristine, everything is outwardly and everything is taken in through their eyes as far as their look, their presentation is the key to their success. Having like nunchucks and spinning it around, like that to me is like the most jarring two things, which makes it so funny to see like a proper news guy like spinning around with like a freaking morning jack or like a nunchucks or like a spear, like all that stuff is so funny, man.
Yeah.
Just that aesthetic, that look. The jarringness of it is so funny. So shout out for this movie just for doing that.
Yeah, no, it was all funny, man. It was all good
let's
jokes.
jump into Academy Award nominated The Big Short.
Yeah, classic.
Didn't this one win the script? Best adapted script, best original screenplay?
I mean, I hope it did. It should have. It also won best editing. I know that.
Editing, that's what it won.
Yeah,
I know it won.
Deservingly so.
It won editing. I know it was nominated for sure for screenplay.
Should have been. He should have been nominated for best director. Was he? I think he was.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll verify for you. But either way, talk to me about The Big Short.
Big Short is one of my favorite movies of all time. I know I say that quite often on this podcast.
Really?
Yeah, but
holy crap. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as everyone else, to be honest.
Really?
I really liked it. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, it was real good. It was real good.
No, I like when I first left it, I was like, oh, it's really good, you know.
See, there you go. You had my thoughts.
But then, like, after sitting on it for a little bit, kind of thinking about how wacky it was, like, that they cut to a Ludacris video in the middle of the movie, I thought that was, like,
Shout
wow.
out to Luda.
Yeah. And
we were just talking about him.
Talking about him on the
James Wan episode.
James Wan, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was funny because I thought like oh shoot, like this is like when I left the theater I was like, it's an okay movie, but why that choice? So it really made me look at the movie differently when I saw it again.
Do you think that the fourth wall breaks were jarring, or no? Or do you think they were cool and well done?
I think they're well done. And then I mean, because it came right after The Wolf of Wall Street.
Didn't Selena Gomez come out in this?
Selena Gomez was in it.
Margot Robbie.
I
know, but the Selena Gomez one, out of all of them, I was Margot Robbie in a hot tub. I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Selena Gomez.
Anthony Bourdain was in it too.
Anthony Bourdain, but it's Selena Gomez. I was like, what? The girl's like 17. Well, she's really not.
Apparently, the scene that was the casino, the guy who she was talking with and Selena Gomez, the guy who she was doing it with is a famous like poker player or something.
Oh, no way.
Or something, yeah. He's also famous. But it was originally supposed to be Jay-Z and Beyonce. As those two. But then they, I don't think Jay-Z and Beyonce were available. Yeah, I think this movie is, for one, a brilliant satire of the whole you know, kind of Wall Street elitist. I mean, it's not directly Wall Street; it's more about real estate, but it's the same kind of area, all in that, you know, kind of zone, and it approaches that in a way that's original and fresh. Like obviously we've seen that story a lot with like Wall Street, with Oliver Stone's Wall Street. We've seen it with a lot of other movies, but this and The Wolf of Wall Street kind of take a more comedic approach to it. But this one takes an approach that's also like takes the documentary like style of it too, right? Like it does the push, the weird zooms and shot largely on like a long telephoto lens, so everything looks kind of flat and kind of has this like very specific aesthetic. And I love it. I think that's just genuinely like a brilliant made movie. The style matches perfectly with what they're trying to say. How real life, how impactful these actual events were to American people. They kind of give like a small like side storyline to some of these characters to some extent. And I just think it's brilliant.
What do you think about? Well, the biggest thing for me, and I'll ask you as I tell you, is the tone and how they balance the tone of serious content with satirical elements with slightly comedic elements. Because I don't think it's necessarily comedy. I think that's too strong a word. But
I'd say it's comedy.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think there's comedic elements, but I wouldn't necessarily say comedy.
It stops being a comedy after a while.
Sure. I just feel like there's some I'm gonna sound like such a snob. Oh my God, I stopped myself before saying it, but whatever.
What you say? Be honest, Ace.
It's the idea that life is a comedy, Ace. I mean RB3. It's the idea that in situations like this there can be comedic elements within a real serious story. I don't know if that makes sense.
True, but I don't think a drama is going to cut to a music video, like, yeah, or have Anthony Bourdain.
I just think there's certain elements in this movie, specifically Christian Bale's character, specifically Brad Pitt's character, that it's a little bit more serious. And I think the Steve Carell and the Ryan Gosling character is a little bit more comedic. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's just kind of how I feel that the two kind of come together.
I agree with the Christian Bale. Sure. I think the Brad Pitt stuff is hilarious. I think he's hilarious in this movie. I think it's like quiet funny though. It's
sure.
Like,
I was gonna say it's not.
Yeah, it's not over the top.
Funny.
It's funny seeing the contrast between him and then the two guys who's kind of mentoring. That the entire film they're like super eager, like we just want to make money. We just want to make money. He's like, shut up, like. And he's very much, and he has a very like humanistic approach too, which is why he got out of being in this like business of trading and buying investment trading and stuff like that. That's why he got out of it, because it was too much of like loan sharks, like everybody being evil to each other, and he's just too humanitarian for that. So I think from a character perspective, he offers a very unique window into the life of these guys, how it can actually affect like a good person, how he just kind of lives off on the grid and stuff like that. And I also think his character also kind of serves as like the underlying like kind of heart of the movie to some extent too, and of course he produced it, so I think that of course this was going to be. But
what's his company called? B+?
Plan B.
Plan B.
But I think even at the end, like even when everybody's celebrating because they just made like this enormous amount of money, and he has that key line. It's like this is not a joke. This is not a game. Like people's lives are being ruined because. Yeah. And you're just making money off of it, you know. Yeah. So I think his part is very strong, but I also think he's more of a comedic character. The Christian Bale character is very complex. And
it is very complex.
That's actually who the character who he plays is actually who wrote the book for The Big Short that The Big Short is based on. And he's a very real. I mean, everybody's a very real person, but he's a very real person, and he does have the kind of like the same kind of nervous tick. He's a drummer as well, and he has a very serious backstory. And I also kind of side tangent to some extent. I love the way that they handle the portrayal of like backstories in this movie. Like it's very quick flashes, like you know what I mean. Like it's just visual. Like you get the emotion of the character. Because they had the whole thing in the beginning when they show Steve Carell's arc with his brother committing suicide at the beginning of the story and how that kind of affects him. Same thing with Christian Bale's character with him drowning in a pool or whatever as a kid. All great stuff there. I just think this movie's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you think it's so far just best adapted screenplay winner? It won best adapted screenplay. Yeah. It's Best Picture nominee, Best Supporting Actor for Christian Bale, Best Director for Adam McKay, and Film Editing Best nominee, not winner.
I didn't win.
So it won adapted screenplay, but not editing.
This was 2015. So
2016. It came out 2015, but a 2016 nomination.
So Mad Max Fury Road won. So that's a fair. Okay, I give Mad Max Fury Road that.
It was very well edited.
Yeah.
The whole movie's editing.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a worthy nominee for editing.
100%. And I actually do love that it won the best adapted screenplay because the fact that they're able to communicate as much information as they needed to communicate in this movie to make it understandable for people. I mean, we laugh at the scenes with Margot Robbie and Selena Gomez and Anthony Bourdain, but those are key scenes for people to understand the bigger metaphor. Even that scene, and I love the scene where they first meet Ryan Gosling and he's like making the stacks, and there's like the little Chinese character that's like next to him is like this is Yin. He won a national math competition.
Oh, that's right. Isn't that guy like is he a friend of JT's?
He's a friend of JT's. He was on Box Office Breakdown a couple times back in the day.
He was like a friend of, like an actual friend of JT's.
Yeah,
which I think is funny.
Yeah,
because at first when JT was like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with this guy, I was like, oh cool. It's like a guest or something, like when Christian gets a guest or something. It's like, no, he's an actual friend of his.
Right.
She like hangs out with him like unironically. That's cool. That is a funny moment.
Yeah, but it's also key in understanding the overall development.
Sure.
And I think the way that it approaches the material, I think the way it communicates the material, I think the material itself is really strong because the ending to me, like as much as I laugh through this movie, the ending just destroys me every time. Like, and I wasn't.
Well, that's why I say, like, can you really call it a true comedy?
Yeah,
really.
I mean, I was laughing for like 80% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
is that how you grade it though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's why. I still think Get Out's a comedy, and a lot of people don't agree with that.
Yeah, I really don't agree with that.
But I don't see how you could. Well, I don't see. I don't know.
That's a take right there.
Well, do you think
that's an HD TV flow take? What is that thing called? Smooth correction.
Yeah. I don't know what you should. Yeah, but no, I think I don't know, man. So I think that a lot of times comedy is associated with an inferior thing. Like people think, because they say something is a comedy, it's inferior. I
wouldn't say that.
Well, I think that's a lot of people's perception.
Sure. I agree with that perception. But
no. But I think to me, calling something a comedy is like.
Do you think The Martian's a comedy?
No. But that's not trying. Like, it doesn't even try to be funny. That movie doesn't even try to be funny. The book is funny. Have you read the book?
I haven't, but I heard
the book is funny.
Yeah.
The book.
My friend read the book and he couldn't stop talking about it. And I was like, "Shut up! I get it. It's funny. It's cool."
Yeah, like so when they nominated for best like comedy at the Golden Globes, it's like what? Like why? Like the book is literally like a comedy,
Yeah.
But the movie doesn't even try to be funny.
It has moments. I mean, freaking Childish Gambino slips on a banana peel.
Yeah, but like even that is like the book has a way funnier version of that scene.
Okay.
So it's like it's like for me so. But for something like Get Out, for example, I think Get Out's a comedy because it both takes the genre that is for me it's a comedy at the extension of satire being a comedy to some extent too. Because
that's a stretch. You don't think that's a stretch?
No, I don't. I think the definition of satire is to make fun or to make fun of a genre while subverting it as well.
I think make fun is different than laugh.
Yeah,
you don't think those are two different things?
I mean, I think.
Well, I can see how you're making fun of someone, but I'm not necessarily laughing at what you're saying because it's such a serious and dark thing.
But did you laugh in Get Out?
I laughed with Lil Rel.
But like
that's kind of it.
Okay, so I don't. So this is maybe where my difference comes. So I laughed every time the maid lady came in. I laughed every time that
I laughed one or two times when the maid lady was like when she walked her. The first time she like ran across the room or something. Mm-hmm. That was funny. I think there's. I mean, I laugh in that movie way more than I'm like doing anything. I don't know, man. Because for me. Maybe. I don't know, because I felt like it was a true thriller, like a thriller movie where I was like, come on, Chris, don't die. Oh, like, I don't want him to die. Like, that's what I felt.
Thriller comedy, though? You want to say thriller comedy?
Not really.
Because I feel like, the elements of satire, the fact that Jordan Peele obviously comes from comedy.
Sure. But even he says it's not a comedy.
Yeah, I don't agree with him either.
He made the damn movie.
I don't care. People, David Fincher made Alien 3. So
did he though?
Did
he?
That's a good point.
Or did Fox make it?
But that's true. But I think the satiristic elements help with the comedy. Sure. I think everything in Get Out is quietly funny. And going back to The Big Short,
well, you know what's the funny thing? You know what? Let's talk about comedy. I just mentioned it. I was talking to church about it. Spartacus. I told you.
Yeah.
I literally just said how it has such dark, deep political messages, and yet when they do the crazy gory stuff, they do it almost like in a comedy kind of way.
Yeah.
Like where it's like they're not saying this is funny, but it's kind of funny the way they do like a super crazy backflip and then a guy chops off his head and then bounces his head off the sword. Like it's supposed to be kind of gore funny.
Yeah. To me what I consider
that's funny.
This
I laugh every time I see that stuff on Spartacus.
Yeah. Well, this is to me what I kind of consider as a comedy. If I watch a scene and then I think like after that scene, like after they did the whole take, the director laughed off camera or something, then it's intended to be funny. Okay. You know what I mean? So
but then again, that's speculation.
That's true, but also but like not just like literally mean they laugh, but like you could tell like when the director's having fun, like with a film. You know what I mean?
True. So John Wick.
John Wick, yeah.
John Wick 2 is hysterical.
Yeah.
John Wick 2 is a comedy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that's intended, but like,
have you seen John Wick 2?
Yeah.
Did you not laugh? Like
I laughed
kill was a joke.
Yeah,
I thought every kill was funny.
But it was also dope too.
It was also dope. That's true.
But yeah, no, I think The Big Short and Get Out are both examples of movies that aren't necessarily quote unquote traditional comedies.
Sure.
But they use the comedy. The comedy amplifies the overall message, and it plays on a lot of satirical elements that you wouldn't normally see in most other films. So I think on top of that, and both Jordan Peele's and Adam McKay's background, to me, kind of makes them both good contenders for comedies.
I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I'll accept it. Either way, let's finish up by talking about Succession, a show that you have not finished.
I have not seen. I've only seen the first episode.
You've only seen the first 2 episodes. Let me tell you a little bit about it, man.
Give me a breakdown.
I can't lie, man. This show, I said it before I started the episode, but it is one of my favorite shows of the year, man. It really is. HBO show starring, what's his face? Brian Cox.
That's right.
Starring Brian Cox.
Brother of Charlie Cox?
No.
Family member of Courtney Cox?
William Stryker. You know William Stryker?
Yeah.
What's his name? Brian Cox, yeah. That's his name. Jesus, man. Why are you making fun?
I'm just asking, like, is he related to Courtney Cox or Charlie Cox?
Man, don't ask me, bro. No. Also starring Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin?
Yeah.
He's in this for real?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, shoot. Who is he?
He plays one of the sons. So essentially, the story, you've seen the pilot, so you know a little bit, but the story is about a mega conglomerate media company. Essentially, what I got from it was Disney.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know if you got that too.
Well, I saw he worked at like a Disneyland type at the beginning.
That's why you know it's kind of Disney or Universal. You could say Universal too because they also have Universal Studios. But basically, the kind of media company that has news outlets, that has entertainment, that has movies, that has theme parks, that has what are those things called? Cruises. That kind of giant conglomerate media corporation, massive scale that not only influences culture, but it influences thought, it influences opinion, it influences perception of politics, of everything that you can imagine, entertainment, music. They even talk about like signing artists in this show. It's so good. I love that type of corporate stuff because it's corporate entertainment kind of stuff that I not necessarily, but maybe later down the road when I'm an ancient man want to get into. I would want to get into corporate entertainment stuff just because I like that kind of world. And I like to manipulate people every 3. Not playing.
Go have some cars on.
My voice gets dark. I like to manipulate. Straight up Conjuring 3, bro.
Oh, shit.
Not playing. But either way, that's the kind of world that he does. And what it is, he has a very traditional Scottish background. So it kind of has that. The reason why the show is called Succession is because it kind of has that traditional passing of the mantle to your son, to your heir kind of mentality. And it talks about all the children he has, where his daughter is into politics and she's a political advisor. His son is a president of the company. His other son is in charge of entertainment and production, and he thinks he's like this cool creative guy. His other son is really into agriculture and into farming, and he thinks he's like this guru of farming. And everyone thinks they're better than they are because of the way they were raised. But the family...
Traditional for privileged people.
Yeah, really. And it's so... I mean, I'm a sucker RB3 for white-collar, corporate, freaking political shows and movies. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
You know I love that shit, bro.
Oh, bro, I love it. I just think it's so cool. I love the whole he's screwing you over for 10% of the company. And I'm like, yeah, what? Like, I freak out. Like, that's my Game of Thrones type stuff.
I just watched The Founder, too, the other day.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great film.
There you go. But I'm a sucker for that type of stuff, man. And it talks about, like, intellectual property. And it's more like Hollywood media corporate type stuff, which is kind of why I'm a little bit more into it, because it's more about like IPs and corporations and apps and all that stuff and technology and stuff that has a bigger impact than people realize, because the political world and the media conglomerate world goes so hand in hand that people don't even realize that they're in the game together.
Yeah.
That they're in the whole, they're pulling the wool over the people's eyes.
Yeah.
Together. And that's,
you don't know how many of these movies are funded by your internet. Your internet bill.
Yeah. And how many media corporations actually have pay big money to some big politicians, man.
Oh,
and that's kind of why I love this show, man, because it has all that stuff combined with like family drama, combined with like a son trying to balance the idea his dad has for him, and his dad kind of on his last page, I guess you can say, because he's dying, quote unquote. He's just really old, and he's just trying. He's slowly, his health is deteriorating. So his son is like, oh, maybe I can take over the company. Maybe I can be ready for it. And his dad is like, you're not ready. And he's like, well, I want to be ready because you're about to go, so I need to be ready. So he's trying to prove himself to his dad, while at the same time trying to take over the company, while at the same time not trying to be a pushover. Because the show starts, and he's a pushover to his dad. I don't know if you saw that scene where I forget what his dad says, like, you're a disappointment or something, like, you suck, get out of here. And he's like, damn it, Dad, and he walks out. And then the following episodes, he's trying to prove himself to his dad because he realizes his dad wants that respect.
Because he lost out on that deal, right, in the very beginning?
That's right, yep. Yeah. Either way, I love this show because it has all that corporate stuff. It also has slight comedic elements. That's why I said if you like The Big Short, it kind of has a similar tone. Not quite as funny as The Big Short.
Yeah. Now this one isn't a comedy.
It isn't. It really isn't. It has just some comedic. There's one guy in this show that just kills me, dude. I forget his freaking name, but he's so good, dude. I think I told you too in the movie theater when we went to see Crazy Rich Asians. That's when I was watching this show, and I told you, I said that. Oh, here it is. His name is Matthew McFadden. He plays Tom in the show.
Matthew McFadden.
It's so... I'm going to offend a lot of people, but then again, I don't care. This is what I do. It's so funny because this guy plays like the husband of the daughter of the huge corporate guy, Brian Cox. And he's the husband. So he's kind of like in the, position of like, hey, honey, would you like some more tea? Like, he's very, like, kind of sucking up to her because she's the she comes from the big money. Yeah, so it's kind of the opposite, the matriarchy of, like, her kind of being like, okay, honey, go away now. Yeah. The adults are talking kind of thing.
Oh, shit.
Like, yeah, bro, it's real. And he kind of plays that side of, like, yo, what's up? I'm rich. I'm cool. I'm awesome. Like, I got swag. And he really is just a goofy guy who's married to the right person. But the funniest part of his character is, number one, that he tries to be an asshole to people just to prove himself, which makes him kind of a dick in the beginning. I hated him at first, but then I kind of liked him. But what makes him so funny is the freaking flamboyance of this guy is so funny, dude. To see this guy be like the quirkiest, like most like flamboyant dude ever just because he's married to this girl is so good. And all this stuff goes into the corporate angles of one family over another, over all this media conglomerate, political. It gets into like who's running for president and stuff like that. Dude, I'm telling you, this show, a lot of people talked about Barry this year for favorite shows. I'll talk about my favorite shows of 2018 probably next week. But Barry, Glow season 2, Atlanta season 2.
Season 2 definitely.
Narcos Mexico. Obviously My Hero Academia, but I don't know if I want to count anime. What's another favorite shows of 2018 for you?
I haven't watched TV this year.
Oh, you come on, man! You can't do that to me, bro. You can't do that. You didn't see Atlanta season 2.
That's all I.
You didn't see Glow season 2.
No.
You didn't see Glow season 1.
Nope.
Come on, man. Why? What's wrong with you?
I just don't watch. I don't watch. I want to watch more TV. What did we watched?
Either way,
House of Cards. We did watch
House of Cards. That was not good.
Not good. Westworld was good.
Oh, Westworld was good. Was that 2018?
I don't know. I might have been too late on that. Yeah, you're right.
That was in 2018?
I waited like years.
Yeah.
Damn,
bro.
I watched that one.
That Amy Adams show came out this year,
Sharp
too.
Objects.
That was pretty sure. Did you see Sharp Objects?
Saw the pilot.
Okay. Either way, Succession, I gotta be honest, man, it's probably my favorite. I mean, one of my favorites of the year so far. I'll probably put an anime ahead of it just because that's how I am. But yeah, Barry was really good.
Did Stranger Things season 2 come out this year?
No, that was last year.
Fuck.
That was one of my favorites last year. Yeah, that was dope. Season 2 was dope.
Way better than the first one.
Yeah, way better than the first one.
Yeah.
But either way, there is, out of my favorite shows of the year, this is up there, man. What did Netflix have this year? What did Netflix have?
I don't know what they had, but we talked about me and Brian talked about Coen Brothers, and
did you see Buster Scruggs?
That movie is hot.
Really?
Well, at least so what it is like 6 different stories.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they're all different.
American Vandal season 2.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one either. Fuck, I gotta get that one. Yeah, no, they did a episode of I'm sorry, they do 6 different stories, and the first story, like they're all so different and so weird that it's just hilarious. The first story is literally this dude who like he's like, it's all set in the Old West, so this dude like goes around and like people like challenge him or like fucking like pull out their guns at him or whatever. And he's just like the coolest killer, like in the like shoot him like real quick.
Yeah.
But he's like this super goofy guy who like sings songs about like the people who he kills like after he kills them. Like it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. All of them are just funny. So I really like that movie.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean I can't lie. The more I look up shows, hold on, let's do it one more time. Before
shows in 2018, yeah. Come on, give me something, man. I don't know.
I can't lie, dude. Succession might be my favorite. The more, I mean, Ozark season 2. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, Ozark is so good. Let's see. Oh, Maniac. Maniac was pretty good.
Oh yes, Maniac.
Maniac was pretty good.
That's amazing.
I never saw Haunting in Hill House.
I never seen it either.
Atlanta season 2.
Amazing.
Daredevil season 3.
I haven't watched it.
That was pretty dope.
I tell you, I got my memory erased for the first 2 seasons of Daredevil.
You did tell me that, and I was very offended. I haven't seen Dear White People. Sharp Objects. Damn, bro, I'm telling you, man, this is not.
This is a rough year, man. What's happening with the shows? What happened to golden age of television?
So far, I don't really see New York Times Best of 2018. Let's take a look here.
I watched Legion for a little bit. I didn't finish it. I couldn't finish it.
I dropped out so hard. I'll probably jump back in. BoJack Horseman, the new season. I haven't seen it.
Oh, I liked it. I mean, I didn't see all of it.
Homecoming. I never saw it. You see Homecoming?
No. Disenchantment on Netflix. Pretty good.
What is that?
It's like from the creator of The Simpsons. It's like an animated fantasy.
I don't know most of these shows. The Bridge, The End of the Effing World, Babylon Berlin.
Oh, a good friend of mine is in the End of the Effing World.
No way. That's awesome. Money Heist, Unforgotten. Dude, New York Times, you guys are weird. What is these choices? Barry, Killing Eve. I still haven't seen Killing Eve. I'm gonna watch it.
You've never seen it.
Pose on FX beats me. I haven't seen any of that stuff.
On that.
Vanity Fair, and we'll call it a night. Come on, Vanity Fair, pick something good. Succession, there you go. That's the right choice. Number 10, it's a Succession. I disagree with that. High Maintenance, I don't know what that is. Pose, I haven't seen it. Blue Planet, come on, guys. You guys are picking a documentary about fish. Patrick Melrose, I never saw it. I kind of wanted to see it.
Never seen it either.
It's the what's it, Benedict Cumberbatch show?
Is it on Amazon?
Mm-hmm. BoJack Horseman, Atlanta season 2, Killing Eve, and at number 1, The Good Place.
Good Place, never seen.
My roommates are in love with that show, but you know what? Succession is up there for me. It's probably either my number 1 or my number 2.
Nope.
So we'll see. I'll probably put an anime before it. I'm telling you, watch this show. Shout out to Adam McKay for making one of the brainiest, weirdest, zaniest corporate shows I've seen in years.
I gotta check it out.
It's so good.
I haven't even seen enough TV shows to make a top 5, but I will check out Succession.
It's so good. So good. Either way, guys, for the Meaning of Podcast, that calls it. Let us know in the comments down below what is your favorite Adam McKay show. I mean, movie? What is your favorite Adam McKay line? What is your favorite movie line?
Funny or Die video too.
What is your favorite Funny or Die line, quote, short, whatever it is? Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what is your favorite line from a movie, because I feel like he's got so many and we haven't touched on.
Yeah.
Name one of your favorites right now. Boom, on the spot.
My memory is horrible.
My memory is horrible. I love that line. Okay. Either way, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
And Hanukkah to all of our
Hanukkah. RB3 apologizes for all the F-bombs that he threw out.
Yeah.
I apologize for my recommendation of Spartacus.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Check it out over this holiday season.
Yeah. Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa.
Hey.
Everybody celebrating today.
We will see you next year where we will be chilling. 2019 New Year. Let the past die, like Kylo Ren said. Let the past die.
No Star Wars
You're still holding on!
No Star Wars movie this Christmas.
No Star Wars movie this Christmas, which broke my heart. I can't lie, RB3. Broke my heart. This Christmas for me was all about Harry Potter. I think I've seen those movies like 10 times already. Ever since our Harry Potter episode, I've rewatched the Harry Potter movies.
You even watched Fantastic Beasts?
I've gone to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and I'm never going back. But I miss Star Wars. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. And bring on 2019. We love you guys. And for the Meaning of Podcast, I am Ace.
This is RB3.
Peace out, guys.